What's happening, guys? Snoop Reviews here, and forgot about Gaimon. I definitely did. I forgot he was even canon. Yeah, that's what the Forest trial was. I forgot all about that. I thought for some reason it was anime filler. I don't even know if I read his arc. It's just one chapter, but regardless, Gaimon's awesome, dude. He was definitely a partial Straw Hat for a day. No, but it would have been awesome if he joined the crew. Thinking back on it, it'd be kind of interesting. He was like Jinbei before Jinbei was there. But nah, so chapter 22, Strange Creatures, the Gaimon chapter. I'm gonna say his name a couple different ways probably. Gaimon, Gaimon, I don't know. I go Gaimon though. But the cover page is Luffy hanging out with a bunch of rabbits. I think Oda really likes rabbits, in particularly the most. A couple rabbits hanging around on a ship. Surprisingly, this is something I actually knew what was being done without looking it up, because usually in these cover pages, it usually leans more towards Japanese culture. So they're things that they would understand within their culture, but I don't. But I've seen mochi making, actually. I watched a clip. I think it's called Big Think. It's the YouTube channel. But they just show a bunch of cultural world, everywhere, just interesting hobbies, whether it be manufacturing products, what have you. Just there's a bunch of it. But yeah, they're got this big bowl, and Luffy's got this wooden mallet that they mix and fold the mochi in, and Luffy smashes it, he's breaking the bowl as he hits it. But the rabbits are all stoked and they're eating mochi, and there's a couple different balls of mochi hanging around. Yeah, the one rabbit's freaking out because Luffy just broke the bowl. And it's funny because Luffy making mochi, in retrospect, after the Katakuri fight, Luffy don't like mochi. I guess it's one of the few foods in the world he hates is mochi. For some reason he's making it. But it's an interesting process. The video I watched, it was really fast. It was like one guy's working a sledgehammer. Or no, two guys were working mallets, these long wooden mallets, just pounding the mochi. And there's one guy, and so they're in rhythm. They're like one, and there's one guy slipping his hand in between, and he's just folding the mochi, rolling the mochi, and so they smash it and you get this like even consistency. It's really cool. But yeah, that's the cover page. A little more to talk about than usual. So, what is the Straw Hats now? We're sailing at sea. We got Nami, and they're both in the two little dinghies. And, Nami's in the buggy, dinghy, and Luffy's in his he left with. And apparently Nami had just fixed his hat. So Luffy's just stoked. He's, yes, you fixed it! And he's just amazed at Nami's powers, even though all she's doing is really sewing. But he's so stoked about it. Like I said, this is about the only thing Luffy really cares about, besides like people and his ship or whatever, his pride. It's the Straw Hat. That's about it. Take his money, everything else he don't give a damn. But Zoro's sprawled out in the back, just taking a nap as usual. And so if you remember, I just finished this, but Buggy, punctured Luffy's hat. It seemed pretty damaged, and Shanks wants that thing returned to him at some point in a decent condition. So Nami worked her magic, and she's like, it's a temporary fix. I just sewed up the holes. And she's like, it'll be fine if you aren't too rough with it. Luffy not rough with anything. The dude is like an elephant in a bird-sized China house. Like, it's just like, nah, dude, he's gonna ruin it. But no, for some reason, Nami's sewing, because they don't take it to get tailored up or anything. Nami just sewed it up there. But his hat doesn't really see a lot of damage after this. It really, nothing. Whatever's on the tethers, he gets a string around it later to keep it on his head, because it constantly floats off when he's fighting people, and he might lose it. The tether on that thing is goddamn made of steel, nanofiber, whatever. Thing is indestructible, because I've seen that thing hanging him holding him in the air pretty much. He could be hanging from a branch off the strings on his hat. But, you know, so yeah, Nami says, you know, if it's fine as long as you're not too rough with it. And he's like, thanks, that hat was full of so many holes. He's like, and now you can't even tell. And Luffy's just like, jabbing it. He's just like, wow, my hat's never been this strong. And then just pops a hole right through it again, and his eyes just like, oh shit. And she's like, Nami just looks over, shark tooth again. She's like, you don't listen. And she stabs Luffy in the forehead with the needle she sewed it up with. And Luffy's like, oh, you stabbed me with the needle. She's like, that's the only way I can hurt you, apparently. And Luffy's like, you're right. And Zoro wakes up because of Luffy's wailing and Nami and them arguing. And he's like, oh, can you cut the racket? I'm trying to sleep and I'm starving. Which proceeds to set Nami off. She's like, you know, you guys have been sailing at sea for about a week now. You haven't thought to get rations, water. You don't even know how to navigate the sea. She's like, you gotta respect the sea. The sea is a definitely powerful adversary. It's something that's not going to attack you directly, but can kill you just as easily as any other monster. Especially in the world of One Piece. I mean, they're only in the East Blue. So we talked about there's East, North, West, and South Blue that are all outside of the Grand Line. The Grand Line just kind of cuts through it, and I'll show you a picture in a bit. But that, well, hell, we'll just bring it up now. But oh, that's good. But so you have one large strip of land that spans all the way around, one full circle, divides the ocean in half. And then you have the Grand Line that cuts straight across that. And as you can see, there's a couple different routes that lead up into the Grand Line, and there's like four routes to exit it, but only when you're entering it can you go down the one side. And you go through what they call Paradise later, but this is just known as the Grand Line for now. And this is kind of what dictates the way the world works. So the Grand Line splits up the oceans too. That's how you get 4 oceans. So we have, because the Grand Line has calm belts, and calm belts don't allow like any motion in the sea. Literally, when you get on them, you're just stuck. You have to paddle. And apparently there's a lot of big monstrous sea predators that live in that calm belt. How convenient. But anyways, and then there's the Grand Line, which is between those two calm belts, which has its own current. And it kind of just works as its own ocean. So technically, I guess you could say there's 6 oceans in One Piece. There's Paradise, New World. New World's the other side once you cross all the way around the first half. Then you go over and then you're in New World, and that's the last half of the Grand Line before you do a full circle and exit it. But then you have North, South, West, and East Blue, which are all located on the outsides of the Red Line and the Grand Line. So it divides it up. So it's kind of hard to cross to other oceans. You're kind of just stuck where you're at unless you're a really damn good navigator or you have marine support. And that's kind of how it works. So Nami points out, just on top of, you know, how dangerous the sea is, that's another factor that's going to come in. I mean, she doesn't talk about the Grand Line yet. That's something that definitely, you gotta respect the sea in general. Just navigating normal seas is difficult enough as it is. Luffy, not listening, he's just like, oh, I see something. And he's looking through his binoculars and finds an island. Nami's just sitting there, how have you idiots survived this long? And Zoro's got some of Nami's food and he's just chowing it. He's like, yeah, we manage, you know. And so Nami looks at the island that Luffy was looking at, and she's like, oh, forget it, you know, it looks like it's uninhabited. Just hold your course, stay with my ship. Of course, Luffy, not hearing anything, in the search for adventure, he's like, a new island! So he just starts rowing their dinghy over, and Nami, bring it back! We just, And Luffy's like, oh, maybe there's someone on the island that can join our crew. And Zoro's like, yeah, and there might be some food there, but Nami's right, we're not really prepared, you know, we need to figure out what's going on. So they're gonna look for rations and maybe people on the island. But when they land, Luffy even states, he's like, oh, yeah, we found a deserted island. Nami just kind of says, you know, I told you that it's just uninhabited. There's only like trees here. Like, you're not gonna find anyone to join your crew. And Luffy calls for Zoro to come over. But, of course, Zoro's taking a nap. And Luffy goes over to go wake him up. Nami grabs him, you know. Let him rest. He's still recovering from those injuries. But he's like, alright, good thinking, yeah. He's like, let's go. Let's go explore. Like, maybe there are people living deep in the forest. And Nami's just skeptical. She's like, yeah, I don't think there's people here, but maybe monsters. And as she says that, they both kind of just turn, what? Something comes clucking by. And it's pretty much a wolf with, like, rooster gobbler on top. I don't know. The little dangle that hangs off their chin and the... I don't know what the hell those things are on roosters, but he's got that going on for him. But it's like a fox. And they're just kind of like, what the hell is that? Cooper, shut up! And Luffy turns and he finds it's like a snake and a rabbit mixed up, but it's essentially, it leans more towards a snake. It's a snake, but instead of like scaly skin, it has rabbit fur on top and ears. And Luffy, of course, is like, hey, this is a weird kind of rabbit. I've never seen one like this. Nami's like, yeah, it's weird, alright. Leans more towards being a snake than a rabbit, I would say. And then Luffy again, he's like, oh, check out that lion. It's a pig, literally, with just the mane of a lion around it. It looks nothing like a lion. And Nami's just like, lion? She's like, that's, I guess, probably a strange breed of pig. So there's a bunch of weird animals just roaming around this forest. And they even comment, they're like, this is kind of odd. Never seen any of these creatures. And a voice booms out over, he's like, do not come any further. Luffy just kind of, what? And Nami's trying to figure out who said this. Yeah, she's trying to figure out what's going on. And he announces, I'm the guardian of the forest. And they're just, guardian of the forest, alright. What's the deal here? And he just says, that's right, if you value your lives, you'll leave this place now. Are you pirates? Of course. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're pirates. Nami doesn't get why she's actually trying to dissect this. Luffy's just having a conversation, but Nami's like, why would he ask us if we're pirates? Gaimon reiterates, oh, so you are pirates. Like, don't you take another step further into the forest. If you do, you must face the trial of the forest. Will you risk having your bodies dismembered? Luffy's like, who cares? Actually, I don't know if that's sweat or blood from when he got stabbed in the forehead earlier. It looks like he's sweating. And he's like, why are you asking me all this stuff? Nami doesn't understand. He's like, what's this dude going on about? Trial of the forest? We just came to this island to see what's going on. Luffy's like, I think something's wrong with this dude. And the guardian of the forest kind of, what did you say, straw-hatted fool? Nami takes on her Kempo pose. She's got this karate move going. I don't know what the hell that is. She's holding her fist forward. She's like, where are you? Show yourself. And Luffy has an idea where he's at. And Gaimon's just, don't come any closer. It's like, now you must face the trial of the forest. And then you hear a BAM! And Luffy just leans forward. He gets knocked forward. But we see something stretched through his chest, so obviously it's not like a knife or anything. The bullet, and he sends it flying back. Clenches up and sends the bullet flying. And the guardian of the forest is, oh? He's kind of shocked. Apparently he's never seen a person with a devil fruit, let alone a rubber boy. And Nami's like, oh man, that gun really scared me. She's like, wow, even bullets can't hurt you? Which, yeah, they can't. But Luffy apparently still doesn't like guns. He's like, yeah, but they scare me too. He's like, so I don't like being shot. And the guardian of the forest, what are you? And Luffy just, what are you? Perfect question to send back, because what they're looking at right now appears to be an afro inside a chest. It's about what it is, but I'll just throw it up there because this is what it is. It's Gaimon. Gaimon. Gaimon? I don't know, but Gaimon. And Luffy says, that's where the bullet came from, and Nami sees the pistol laying on the ground in front of it. They're just kind of confused. They're like, what is this? It looks real suspicious. And instantly, as they're talking about it, just gets up and starts hauling, booking it. And feet pop out from the bottom of this chest box deal. And person inside just tips over. And it's Gaimon. Yeah, he really actually shows his face here. He's like, hey, he's like, help me up. And Nami and Luffy are still just like, what the hell is going on? Like, it's a person, he tripped himself and now he's acting indignant. And he's just asking for help. Apparently he can't get up because he has no use of his arms, really. I think his arms come out like this far, but he can't like really maneuver himself around much. And Luffy just like, you know, he looks like a shrub. Which I'm sure Gavin appreciates. So they span forward a little bit. They've sat and talked now because they realize he's not really a threat, and Gaimon's jigs up. He can't really scare him off or anything. So they sit and talk, and Luffy's not a bad guy, so Gaimon's gonna end up all right. So Luffy lets him know about the devil fruit. He tells him, you know, it was a fruit of the gum tree. Which, where are these devil fruit trees at, Oda? I want to see the devil fruit trees then. The Atom trees? What are they? What is this? You know? That's an idea for Raftel. Maybe if all devil fruits date back there from the prior civilization, they've just spread out as people have died. Because now the devil fruits just swap into the next nearest fruit. But they talk about the gum tree, you know, I'm sure there's the, I can't even think of any other devil fruits, but like the Baranomi tree or whatever, the Chop tree, what have you. Maybe unless Oda's just dropping the whole tree thing, maybe it's just something people outside of the Grand Line think because people don't really understand devil fruits. Who knows? Topic for another day. Maybe we'll talk devil fruits one of these coming days when I'm off here. Be fun. But, so they fill him in kind of what's going on, and Gaimon just says, you know, I've heard of people who've eaten devil fruits, but he's like, but I've never met someone who's actually eaten the fruit. We get a title card. It's Gaimon, the Keeper of the Island. So he's a grizzly man with a beard sitting inside a chest. He's been stuck on this island for 20 years. He's got green hair, so it makes him look even more like a shrub, at least in the anime, but it's definitely black hair, but it's kind of hard to rate what they do for green. Green's kind of a darker color. So, Gaimon just, you know, says this is the first time he's ever met someone who had eaten a devil fruit. And Luffy flips back, you know, this is the first time I've ever seen a guy stuck in a treasure chest. He's like, are you a boxer? And Gaimon's like, yeah, well, when I was younger. It's like, hey, that's a stupid joke. And it is a really stupid joke. But hey, lighten up, Gaimon. He's like, I'm stuck and I can't get out. He's like, I've been all alone on this island for 20 years. He's like, you can't imagine how miserable I've been. Nami's just like, 20 years? Damn. And she's like, you've been all alone this whole time? He's like, yeah, that's right, 20 years. Oh, about not 20 years now. And Luffy just says, oh, you must be stupid. Favorite line from Luffy right there. He says that all the time to people. He says the buggy, that was some of the best stuff. But people get pissed because Luffy will just outright be like, you seem pretty dumb. Coming from the dumbest guy usually in the room. And so yeah, Gaimon's pissed. He's like, I'll murder you. And Nami's just like, we just calm down for like more than 5 minutes a day. He's like, 20 years ago. It's been a long time. That's why my hair and beard's grown out. He's like, I used to actually have 2 eyebrows. Now I just have 1. He's got a huge unibrow. And they haven't had a conversation with another person all that time. And so Luffy's just like, oh, okay, well, the problem is he's stuck in a box. He just grabs onto Gaimon and tries to start ripping him out. Gaimon's freaking out. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, Luffy's like, you're stuck. He's like, cut it out. You'll break my neck. He's like, don't be reckless. He's like, I haven't had any exercise in all these years. He's like, but now my body's grown into the shape of this box. He's like, I can't get out, and if you do break the chest, he's like, you'll break me with it. So Nami strikes the obvious curious question, well, how the hell did you get stuck in there in the first place? Gaimon's like, you said you were pirates, right? And Luffy's like, yeah, that's right. I mean, I only have 3 crewmates, but we're pirates. Like, well, I used to be a pirate too. And Luffy, you know, he digs other pirates. He's like, oh, nice. And Gaimon's like, it was great, risking my life for treasure and going on a big adventure. And Luffy's like, yeah, it's fun, huh? And Gaimon's like, you got a treasure map? Luffy's like, no, I've got a map to the Grand Line, boy. He's like, I'm going after that One Piece. Gaimon's like, the One Piece? Because that's how everyone reacts. I mean, on the Grand Line, people start just scoffing at you, like, the One Piece? Come on, be realistic. Not a lot of people believe in it anymore. Like, it started the pirate age. A lot of people have given up hope because there haven't been results in 20 years. So, no, a good chunk of most of their lifetimes, the pirate adventure started since Gold Roger died. Nobody's found it. But it's just damn well hidden. Give you that, Goldie. Yeah, Gaimon just can't believe it. He's like, you're not serious. He's like, you're going to enter the Grand Line. And so Oda's building up how heavy the Grand Line's supposed to be. But this is just paradise, man. I mean, it's rough. It's a little rough. They have some tough adventures here. But New World's a whole different ballgame. It's funny because I feel like Straw Hats have banged out a lot of the New World relatively easily. The arcs have been long. There's been crazy stuff that has happened. Man, like fighting Crocodile and Anil, or Eniru, however. Those are insanely tough fights. Moria wasn't. That fight was, honestly, I didn't really care for Thriller Bark. There's parts of it I like. There's a character that comes from it that I really like. But overall, I didn't care for Moria's being the villain. But Sabaody is insane. And Water 7 is, yeah, still considered hands down one of the best arcs. And it just friggin' culminates. That arc just goes. But New World is definitely crazy. The stuff that goes on there, the scale everything's on is way larger. Gaimon's like, you know, looking at the map of Luffy. He's like, where's this Grand Line? And Luffy's like, I don't know. Can you tell me where it is, Mr. Shrub? And Gaimon just starts laughing. He's like, I can't read maps. And Luffy laughs with him. He's like, you can't? And Nami's just like, oh my. These people call themselves pirates. Like, okay, look. It's like, you know where the red line is? Like, look, you know where the red line is, right? And that's that red line on the map on my, on our right here. And, Gaimon's like, yeah, I know. It's the large strip of land that divides the oceans. Like, that's right. She's like, that's right there is why we have 2 oceans, as I talked about earlier. And she's like, and there's a strip of land that divides the seas in 2. Like, that's the red line. Just now, there's a town at the center of the red line. And there's a sea route that cuts through that town and goes around the world. And that's the Grand Line. So, she's actually talking about Marijois. And it's not really a town. It's a goddamn set of mansions and manors. It's upscale New York to the 6s, man. It's just so good. But to break it down, Oda still hadn't everything worked out yet. He's still working out some of this stuff. Not that any of it's wrong. He just undersells it a bit there. But Marijois is huge. Unless she's talking about what is it? They go to later. Log Town. I'm dumb. It's a log town. She could be talking about, but I'm pretty sure she's referencing Marijois because she says it's on the red line on the other side, where you go under it to go to the New World. But regardless, she just kind of informs how the world functions and how the Grand Line is to be explained. So this is really cool. It's a big part of the chapter because it dictates how the rest of their travels are gonna go, revolving around these set rules that Oda made, and they're damn good rules. It makes it quite difficult to do a lot of things, so they can't backtrack really easy, especially once you get on the Grand Line. Because we'll talk about that later as we get into the compasses. God, I can't think of anything. It happens all the time. Log pose. Isn't that a log pose? Yeah. Remember to rise to search it. We'll talk about log poses and all that stuff now. It makes it even more difficult, more set rules that Oda makes, so it makes it even harder for them to go around willy-nilly on the Grand Line. Pretty much once you're in the Grand Line, you ain't out until you circle that sucker. There's ways, there's risky ways, and then there's ways to work around the calm belts and stuff, but for the most part, you're set on your course once you go. So, that's it for talking about Grand Line for the moment. We'll get into some other stuff later, but these set rules is pretty big because it sets up a lot of how their world functions. And as Tacking 101, the Cringe King, would say, geography is everything. And it is. There's a lot that makes sense in this world and how it's run because of the geography. Oda does really well playing on how the whole world, he makes the world feel very real with that sense. But Nami just says, Gold Roger, he was the only one who was able to actually rule this island, or rule this trek of sea. He was able to manage to sail all the way around the Grand Line and pretty much conquer it in all senses, everywhere he went. They say it's the most dangerous sea route. Well, it's also pretty much the only sea route. I said I guess you'd say sea routes for each ocean, but if you want to cross to other seas, you want people from West Blue to be East Blue, all that stuff, you gotta go through the Grand Line to some degree. Now, you could, go up Reverse Mountain to all these different places, but that's just as much of a trek, Can't send freighter ships up Reverse Mountain, from what I understand. I don't know. Moria has a ship that was like an island, and I don't know how he got that sucker into the Grand Line, unless he built it there. Regardless, she says, it's the most dangerous sea route, and Luffy's like, so, if the One Piece is somewhere along that route, we're probably gonna have to sail all the way around the world, right? And Gaimon's like, you make it sound so easy. He's like, it's not that easy. He's like, they call it the Grand Line. The pirates, it's also known as the Pirates' Graveyard. Like, yeah, the Grand Line. He's like, I've seen pirates who've came back from there. And those people haven't successfully, I think, voyaged all the way around it. They managed to skate by or get out. Like I said, the big thing is probably they tried to sail through the Calm Belt, and they probably got effed up and barely made it out alive. And Gaimon says, I love the way this panel is. It's like his flashback is happening in his afro. But he's like, they're broken men, almost like zombies. He's like, you can just tell by looking at them, they've seen awful things. He's like, they've been through horrible, horrible experiences. He's like, none will speak of it, but the sight of these people is enough to tell you the Grand Line is a place of horrors. It's like, to find the One Piece and come back alive, he's like, that's nigh impossible. He's like, it's hard to tell the truth tell truth from rumor. Like, there's so much deceit. Like, it's been like 20 years since the Great Age of Pirates started. He's like, and no one's found that legendary treasure yet. As I said earlier, Gold D did a damn good job hiding that. Nah, it's not really hidden. It's just a really hard destination to reach. You have to meet certain conditions to get there. A lot revolved around it, but I think most people just give up. So it's hard, and especially for how hard the Grand Line is on crews. If you don't have a strong enough crew, you're pretty much gonna fall apart. You're gonna give up really easy. Honestly, Luffy's the type of pirate, even if he was by himself, he would still try to sail the Grand Line. He's just crazy. Gaimon's just like, you need to understand this is a fool's errand to try and search for the One Piece. Luffy's like, it might be, but we'll probably find it. I think we have a good chance of finding it. He's like, we should just give it up, There's lots of other treasures to be had. She's like, why get ourselves killed? Luffy's like, nah, don't even worry about it, Nami. He's like, we'll find it. I'm pretty lucky. I've had pretty good luck most of my life. Nami's like, whatever. Don't know where you get all this confidence from. Gaimon's sitting there watching Luffy really intently. He's like, I'll tell you why I haven't left this island. Luffy's like, what's that, Mr. Shrubman? He's like, hope. I still have hope. Let's find out what Gaimon's hope is. So we flash back He's like, it was about 20 years ago. I was a pirate when I came to this island. He's like, we heard there was a treasure here. We even had a map of it. And so here's Gaimon's captain. He's like, it's no use searching the island anymore. All 200 of us have been hunting around here for 3 weeks, and all we found is broken chests and empty chests. Like, all hands back up to the ship. They're like, yarr! And like, hey, Gaimon, come on, guys. He's like, we're leaving. And Gaimon's like, alright. So we see young Gaimon here. He's got a little bit of beard, kind of similar to mine, just a little stubble and stuff. Short curls. He doesn't have his big afro, and he definitely still has the unibrow. It was not 2 eyebrows ever. So Gaimon's like, yeah, I'll come. And he was looking at this cliff face, and he just goes, Captain's been standing in front of this cliff the whole time. He's like, I wonder if anyone actually went up and looked. He climbs up there, and he was so excited he couldn't even believe it. He's like, he found like 6 or 7 chests up there unopened. So he shouts back, you know, he's like, hey, everybody. He's like, I found it. It's up here. And he falls. He breaks a rock on the cliffside and falls. Slams into a broken treasure chest beneath him. And that's how he got stuck in the chest. So when he woke up, he went running. He saw the ship sailing off. He's like, they're leaving me. He's like, they're sailing away. He's like, my crewmates. He's like, all my friends. He's like, everyone, it's already set. They're already set sail. Like, well, that means the treasure's all mine at least. So he's all stoked. He goes running over. He's like, I can't climb the cliff face. I'm stuck. So he goes running back over to where the ship was again. Like, come back, you guys. And Luffy, that's where the flashback ends. Luffy's kind of like, and nobody's been here for 20 years? Gaimon's like, no, people have came. He's holding his gun in a very ominous look. No, people have come, lots of people. He's like, mostly pirates looking for treasure, but I've scared them all off with my trial of the force bit. Like, all that treasure I saw up on the cliff, he's like, I just can't bring myself to part with it. Like, if only I weren't stuck in this chest. He's like, all this time I've protected that treasure. It's all mine. All mine. Luffy's like, yep. You're absolutely right. He's like, it's rightfully yours. And Nami goes, Gaimon, I'll go up there and get your treasure for you. Gaimon's like, oh, that'd be great. That'd be awesome. He's like, I'm so glad I told you my story. And Luffy's like, but you're a pirate thief. Nami's like, shut up. I'm a thief, but I'm not heartless. Question that sometimes, Nami. So they show up in front of the big sheer cliff face, and where Gaimon had fallen off and gotten stuck 20 years ago. And he says, you know, this is it. He's like, it's been a while since I came here. And Luffy goes, why didn't you tell anyone else your story like you told us? He's like, never trusted anybody. Besides, he's like, none of the others really ever tried to talk to me. And so Gaimon's getting excited. He's like, oh man, the treasure's so close. He's like, finally, today's the day. Nami pats Luffy on the shoulder. She's like, Luffy, do your stuff. Luffy's like, you want me to do it? Yeah, Nami definitely said she would get the treasure off for him. She goes, well, I certainly can't climb this sheer cliff face. And Gaimon's like, I'm counting on you, Straw Hat Boy. So instantly it's Luffy's deal. But Luffy's like, whatever, okay. Shoots his arm up there, gum stretch, pretty much. And then grabs the edge. Gaimon's kind of impressed. And Luffy slingshots himself up there. Gaimon's like, wow, he did it. So Luffy shouts down holding a big chest. He's like, I see them. He's like, the 5 treasure chests. And he's like, yeah, throw them down here. He's like, but don't drop them on us. Just be careful. And he just laughs and he's super excited. Luffy's big smiling grin. He turns and goes, forget it. Gaimon's like, what? Even Nami has this shocked expression. She's like, Luffy, are you insane? She's like, stop joking around and throw him down here now. Shouts at him, throw him down. And Luffy's like, forget it. I don't want to. Nami gets pissed. She's like, damn it, Luffy. And Gaimon goes, no, it's fine. If he doesn't want to, he doesn't have to. Nami's like, how can you say it? It's your treasure? And Gaimon goes, Straw Hat Boy, you're a good kid. Nami doesn't get what's going on. She's like, what? Gaimon goes, I suspected this might have been the case. So I had my fears, but I just didn't want to believe it. They're empty, aren't they? He's crying. Gaimon's been spending 20 years protecting these treasure chests. And Nami goes, what? She's taken aback, and Luffy goes, yeah, they're all empty. Gaimon kind of explains, and this is something that did happen in Pirate World all the time, for sure. You didn't know when you get treasure maps, but he goes, it happens all the time. Treasure maps, he's like, you get your hands on a treasure map, but somebody's already taken the loot. And, it's heartbreaking, man. He spent 20 years stuck in a box, protecting his treasure, waiting for the moment he could escape this island with his money. And it was all for naught. Nami goes, you've been guarding here for 20 years and they're empty? And Luffy just starts laughing, you know. He had a serious look on his face, but he just starts busted up. He's like, ha 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 ha. He's like, don't feel bad, Mr. Shrubhead. He's like, you're lucky we showed up. He's like, another 30 years and your whole life would have passed you by. Gaimon's like, kid, Luffy has, like I said, sometimes it sounds insensitive, but it really is a bright way of looking at life. You know, you could dwell on the 20 years you lost, or focus on the 30 years you have now that you won't be waiting. And he's like, well, he's like, the only one thing that will make it up for you, this big disappointment, is you're gonna go after the One Piece with us. Gaimon's just like, you want me to join your crew? He doesn't get why they'd want a man in a chest. Well, Luffy don't care. Luffy likes strange and unique people. He doesn't care what your purpose is on the ship necessarily. He just wants to be surrounded by people he likes. So it spans forward a little. They did some talking. And Gaimon decided he wanted to be left on the island. He's okay with it. He appreciates that Luffy offered to invite him. He's like, you know, it was very nice. He's like, but this is still my home. He's like, there's no treasure, but he's like, but I can still guard the forest. Like, I am the guardian of the forest. Luffy goes, well, why are you just gonna guard the forest? Like, well, you saw those unusual animals that were living in the forest. He's like, oh yeah, those weird snake rabbits and lion pigs. Like, more people come to this island looking for exotic animals than treasure. I've grown fond of these critters after all these years. It's like, I don't want to abandon them. Good guy, Gaimon. We get a round of applause for the animal preserver and narcissistic treasure hoarding crazy guy in the chest doing his cause, you know. But no, he's a good dude. It would have been fun to see him on the crew, honestly, though. Imagine if he joined. Imagine. It'd be so wild. And Luffy makes a comment. He's like, you know, you're sort of an exotic animal yourself. He's like, watch it, Buster. Tired of these box jokes. He's tired of being made fun of and ridiculed for being a man trapped on an island for 20 years. Here's the question. Gaimon hasn't jerked off in 20 years, right? Like, that's definitely it. Like, that dude just has to piss all over himself pretty much, too, inside that box. I don't even want to know. Whatever. But, back to it. He's like, in a way, I'm relieved that there's no treasure. He's like, I can finally stop fretting about the treasure and just enjoy the island. Luffy's like, it's too bad you're not coming with us. Gaimon just passes on. He's like, go get yourself a great crew. He's like, now go find that One Piece and make the world your oyster. Real good one, Gaimon. Send him out there with the proper bravado and motivation. Back your boy Luffy. He'll take care of you and you take care of him. So Luffy says, see ya. Zoro's still conked out in the ship, not even a clue who Gaimon is or the trial of the forest. But Luffy and Nami and Zoro leave Gaimon on the island and resume their voyage to the Grand Line. That is chapter 22. Trial of the Forest, I think is what they titled it. Oh shit. Nope. Chapter 22, Strange Creatures. Different one. I forgot Gaimon. I actually enjoy him a bunch. He's a fun guy. And now we'll be going to Sur Village, I believe. Well, let me check. I don't want to sound like a moron for like 3 videos, but yep. Dread Captain Usopp. That's our next chapter, boys. Well, Snoop Review's out. Have a good night. We'll get to you tomorrow.